All right, so now we're going to move on to operations. So the idea is that operations in Python are very similar to the ones we see in maths, as you can see here. These are the basic operations that we do in Python, which is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, floor division, modulus. So the first four you most likely know. The other two I will get to it. I will explain it. Don't worry. So these are the operands or the operators that we use to do these particular operations in Python. So for addition, we use the plus symbol, subtraction, minus. You get the idea. All right, now I'll show you. It's better to explain it with examples. Now, something that I need to explain to you is what we call comments. So if you know any kind of other programming language, you know what a comment is. For those of you who don't, a comment is basically a way to write something for yourself in the program. What that means is sometimes when you're writing a lot of code, it is very easy to forget what part of your code performs what action. So for that you write comments so that you can, when you come back to your code after a while, you can understand what your code actually does. All of this is completely ignored in the program, and this is just for you or the reader. All right. So the way we write comments in Python is we use a hashtag, and after that, the entire line is ignored by the compiler. So over here we have hashtag, and I want to talk about addition right now. So I'll just write addition. All right, now coming here, what we'll see is that there's a couple of things that we need to keep in mind when we are talking about operations. The most important thing is that we cannot add numbers to text. As you can imagine, adding numbers to text is it just doesn't make any kind of sense, right? So what we can do is we can add numbers to numbers or text to text. I'll show you how that is done. So in numbers, we have integer and floating point, right? So we can add an integer to another integer. We can add a floating point number to another floating point number, and we can add an integer to a floating point number as well. So we can, the basic thing that we can do is print. I'm using print so that we can see what actually happens. 4 plus 3, which is basically integer plus integer. All right. I print all of this out together. So just a minute. Print. Let's see how to add a floating point number with another 3.5. And you can just, yeah, that's about it. So this is a floating point number with another floating point number. All right. And finally, we can, for the numbers part of it, we can add an integer to a floating point number. So let's say this, which is basically an integer and float. All right, again, for Python, just like for maths, addition is commutative. The ordering doesn't really matter. So just keep that in mind. All right, 4 plus 3 is 7, and 3.5, 4 plus 5.6 is 9.14. And all right, so just remember when you're adding ints and floats, there is a little caveat with how data is stored. So it's almost exactly right. There's a bit of a change, but basically what you need to consider is that this part is right, 7.56, which is basically the result of this addition. So you will see this in your programs. Don't worry about it. It's nothing. It's just very basic, and you really don't need to worry about it. So this is how numbers are added in Python. Now coming to adding text. Adding text does not make any intuitive sense for us because we never think about adding text per se. Numbers should have been very obvious for you. Like in mathematics, we do this all the time. We add, say, 1 plus 2 is 3. It's literally the most basic thing that we ever learn. All right. Now, when it comes to adding text, let's see how that works. So we basically write, I'm writing prints that we can see. Now, for adding text, we first put in the first part of the text that we want, say hello. All right. And then we use the plus operator, and then we write the rest of it. So basically, this addition operator, it joins those two texts together. All right. It basically joins my first text with my second text and keeps them together. That's the basic idea of how this works. So hopefully you understood what we mean when we say adding text. It is just putting all the text pieces one after another, and this is also called string concatenation. So that's basically about it for addition. Now coming to subtraction. Subtraction we do not have for strings, it's just for numbers. So you have print 3 minus 5, or you can have print 5 minus 3. This is just basic maths. You can have floating numbers being subtracted, 4 minus 0.35. You can have two floating numbers subtracted from each other. The idea is just, you can have literally any kind of mathematical subtraction that you do in real life in code. Again, a little bit of a caveat with data storage. Don't worry about it. Your answer is almost exactly perfect. So the idea is that subtraction is like a carbon copy of what we do in maths. There's not much to it. It's basic, just maths. Don't worry about it. Now, something that you might have noticed is that when I add an integer with a float, or when I subtract a float from an integer or vice versa, the result is a floating point number, which makes sense intuitively because let's say I have 5 minus 0.45. In this case, 5 is an integer and 0.45 is a floating point number. So my result, which is 4.55, will also be a floating point number. Uh, Again, by floating point number over here, I mean decimal, and hopefully you're able to understand this. If this is a little fast for you, you can go back to it again, because for the first time, especially if you're doing this for the first time, it may be a little tough for you. So that's basically it about subtraction. Moving on, multiplication. Now, multiplication is slightly more complicated than subtraction would be. So let's see. All right. Again, for the numbers, it is fairly straightforward. So you have 4 into 3, or you have pick a decimal number. You should experiment with this. You should definitely try out, try just messing with this. You can find new numbers, click on anything, multiply floating point numbers with other numbers. Basically, it's fairly simple when it comes to just integers and numbers. All right, so as you can see, these are just basic examples of multiplication, nothing much. It's a very simple thing. But when it comes to text, it becomes a bit more convoluted. So you can obviously not multiply text with text, because that won't make any sense. So what what you can do instead is you can multiply text with an integer. All right, so this doesn't happen in addition, it happens in multiplication. You can multiply integers with text. What that basically does is, okay, I'll show you what I'll write something, and you should try figuring out what it does. So if I write 3 into hello, what do you think this would do? So the idea is that when we say 3 into hello, we basically mean hello plus, just forget the exclamation mark. I'm not writing that right now. So let's say this. So basically 3 into hello means hello plus hello plus hello. It's just maths, like the way we do it in maths. This can be implemented for strings in Python. So if I print this out, you'll see what happens. It's hello, hello, hello. There's no space, which is why it is just joined together. But the idea is that when we multiply an integer with a string in Python, it basically means that we are doing something like this. We are repeatedly adding that string to itself. Hopefully that was understandable for you, and that is basically it about multiplication. Now, when it comes to division, we have two types of division in Python. One of them, I'll take both of them together. One of them is just simply division, and the other one is floor division or integer division. I'm so sorry, floor division, which is also called integer division. Now, for the first one, it basically means it's kind of the regular division that we do. So take any two numbers that you like. I'll take 5 and 2 because it's an easier example. So let me say 5 divided by 2. So division, the first division, we use one single like oblique mark. So that is, or a slash if you would like to call it that. So 5 by 2, this is the simple division. Now, if anyone is asked to divide 5 by 2, we would say 2.5, right? So that is basically the result you'll get from this. Again, for division, there's nothing about text, so don't worry. That's only for addition and multiplication. All right. Now, if I want to divide, let's say 6 by 3, I get 2. Now, something that you might notice is that in the division where we, in the regular division, even when I divide an integer by an integer, I got a floating point number. Why this happens is because this kind of division is meant to deal with decimals. So the idea is that when I divide two numbers which aren't, when the numerator or when the dividend an exact isn't an exact multiple of the divisor. Say in this case it is, but in 5 by 2, so in 5 by 2, 5 is not a multiple of 2, right? And I will get a decimal number because obviously that's how division works. So I got 2.5, right? So this kind of division is meant to deal with decimal numbers. And although in this case 6 is a multiple of 3, it will still give me a floating point number. It'll still give me a decimal number. But if I want, if I want only the integers, so say for example, when I'm dividing 5 by 2, I get 2 as the quotient and I get 1 as the remainder, because 5 equals 2 into 2 plus 1. I don't know if you're familiar with this formula, but the idea is that I'll just show you what that is. So we have the dividend, which is the number being divided, is equal to the divisor into, I'm so sorry, divisor into quotient plus remainder. So what this means is that whenever you're dividing a number, all right, say in my case, I was dividing 5. What was I dividing it by? I was dividing it by 2. And I will get the quotient as 2 and I will get the remainder as 1, because 5 equals to 4 plus 1, right? So this would be my divisor, the number I'm dividing it by, and this is my quotient, and I of course I get a remainder. Now the idea is that when I'm doing regular division, I do not care much about what exactly is going. Just a minute. Right. So I do not really care about any of this. I just think, okay, 5 divided by 2 is 2.5. It's basically how we do division. But when it comes to floor division, I start caring about this. So what this means is when I do floor division, if I write 5 by 2, so I say it by. It's actually not a technical term, obviously. It's just easier for me to remember. So 5 divided by 2 using floor division or 2 oblique marks is basically us only considering the quotient. So obviously when you divide, you have quotients and remainders. When I do something like this, I only want the quotient. So I'll get 2 over here. Why? Because when I divide 5 by 2, I will have 2 as my quotient and 1 as my remainder. So in the sense that when I divide 7 by 2, all right, if I take the example of 7 in this case, right? So 7 equals to 2 into 3 plus 1. So when I am dividing 7 by 2, I will get 3 over here. Hopefully you were able to understand what we basically mean is that we take the quotient of our division. What you can also consider it as is taking the smallest integer from the division, right? So when I divide 7 by 2, I get 3.5, and the the largest integer smaller than 3.5 is 3. So that is also another way to look at this, but really don't worry about it. Just think of it as the quotient when you divide these two numbers. Quotient ignoring the remainder. So hopefully that was understandable for you. If it wasn't, please go through it again. So that's about it for division and floor division. Finally, the last thing we have is modulus or modulo, whatever you would like to call it. This is again, so since we just saw this here, you may imagine, all right, this number is your dividend, this number is your divisor, and whatever I'll get by performing this operation is my quotient. Now, what if I want the remainder? All right, so here you basically have 4 numbers, and if I want the remainder, so say I'm dividing 7 by 2. I do know that the remainder is 1, right? But say I'm dividing some very large number and I want to find out the remainder. So the way I would do that is I would say print 7 modulo 2. So I'll get the remainder of this division back. Similarly, say I want to print any random number and I say this. I have no idea what the remainder is going to be, but the computer does, right? And it can tell me. So this percentage sign is what we use for modulus. This will give me the remainder when I divide this by this. That's basically about it. So you should remember this if for division as well as modulo, because it is very important and you'll be able to understand all of this better if you do remember it like this.